Hey, okay, we are going to get started, and we get to talk to you guys a little bit today about vision, and more specifically having a legacy vision and what that looks like. So we want to talk about kind of exposing limiting beliefs that could hold you back from that, and how to move forward with really shaping that legacy vision. In terms of starting out, I kind of want to share for myself, it wasn't something that I guess in terms of what could have held me back when I started, you don't have to have it all together, for one, in terms of your belief or your, limitations and things. When we pulled you guys in the group too and asked about this, but I want to share about me. When I started, I would have considered myself self-conscious. I loved people, but I was very nervous in front of people I didn't really know, or big groups, especially people I didn't know. Very insecure about myself, lacked confidence. So these are all things I could have certainly held on to in terms of what could have held me back from pursuing this, succeeding, having a vision, being confident about it, growing into, leadership roles and things like that. So there are things that could hold any of us back when we start. And we pulled you guys and talked about that too, which we'll bring up in a second. Did you want to talk about yourself?
So I am a little different. I think I have always been told I'm a little too much for people. You talk too much, you're too loud, you're all over the place, you don't focus, you're messy. So I've just always been too much. And so for me, the limiting beliefs I had was kind of, first of all, could I even do it? Like, was this even legit? Number one, I'm an educator by trade. And I think sometimes that comes with a certain amount of credibility off the rip. And so I worried that I'd be trading my credibility on a chance, right? And then if I did get there, could I stay there? But then would my personality even be conducive? Like, I could probably get people to take some action, but would they stay long-term? Or would I run them off? So definitely had some limiting beliefs about my ability. And I mean, I had limiting beliefs about my vision. Like I could only see so far. So if some of you are in this room and you're like, you know what? I don't know if I have diamond vision yet. Listen, you can get a long way just by having vision for the next thing. If you're at senior goal points, have vision for Ruby and what that success will feel like. Get there, have vision for senior Ruby. It's okay if you can't have, I don't think I had diamond vision until I was an emerald. And then I went on my first emerald trip and I was like, oh, those diamonds are all regular. Like they're all different personalities, all different shapes and sizes, all different backgrounds. When I watched somebody's story about how they went diamond and she was in a house coat with no makeup on, and I'm pretty sure what was her double wide, I'm like, I can do this. I understand that life right there. I totally understood it. I'm like, if she can do it, I'm pretty confident I can do it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And things that stood out to us when we asked you guys in the chat, like, what are some limiting beliefs that could hold you back? There was a very big theme. A lot of it, I'm just going to say a couple keywords. I'm not reading everybody's, but a couple keywords that stood out. Whether I have the ability to develop leaders. I may not have what it takes to raise my leaders. I don't have the time or knowledge base to have a large enough team. Can I manage everything as I grow? So again, leadership, you're growing into a bigger team. Not qualified as a leader. Am I enough? I have, will I be able to serve everyone well enough? Again, leadership, right? Capability of growing into the leader I need to be to have a diamond team. Not a good leader, not able to lead people to reach their full potential. So this is a very common thing. You guys are not alone. And I felt very much that same way. And I don't have it all together even yet, but I know in the beginning, if, first of all, I want to say, like, kind of like what Christina was saying, like, you don't have to have all this lined up. We're gonna give some thoughts on moving forward with your vision to be confident in that. But I wasn't confident in that when I started. And if Tiffany and Fallon would have said, hey, like, you're going to be like leading a bunch of people and you're going to have to step into all these leadership roles, that would have intimidated me. I probably would have wanted to bury my head in a hole. So we are talking about this because we know it's important, because we want to raise you guys as leaders because we know you can step into that more, but wherever you are at now, it is just that next step. It is serving people. It is that it'll come naturally as well. But as much as that you can do intentionally, it's only going to help you and your team grow.
So I think about when those of you who have kids, I think about when they put that baby on your chest. Like, you have a vision that eventually it's going to grow into like an adult and productive, whatever. But that day, if I were to say, what's your potty training plan?
Right.
Like, what are you going to do the first time your kid drives off in her car? Like, if I would have if somebody had asked me these things, I would have been like, I don't even know how to make it suck its milk. Like, I don't even know that. Like, it's only a few hours in. Like, I can't even figure this out. So, but I did have a big vision. Like, okay, but the end goal is going to be this, and I was just willing to mess it up all along the way. And listen, every time that something pivotal has happened in raising these kids, because you guys, I have kids in college and pre-K and some in between, every single time it has been the journey up till that point that then made me able. It wasn't hurry up and get ready for that 16-year-old on day 3 or even during potty training. It was all of that arriving at that moment, and now suddenly I'm able to attempt. And that's all you ever actually want to be, is just able to attempt. But if I hadn't been willing to teach the baby how to suck the milk, we never would have got to the potty training. So.
And not to mention, how many times do we go forward with a potty training plan when it's time and your kid is not following your plan, right? Like, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So things are not going to go according to your plan most of the time, right? You can think you have life all figured out. You can think I have the best things to say, the right people to connect with, and everything should be perfect. So your plan, it's fumbling through it, and it's just moving forward in spite of the limitations, in spite of the fears, through the fears. It's not waiting to overcome them. It's not waiting to overcome the limitations. So everything you guys shared, the ones that shared, and those that are, you're thinking, okay, what limiting beliefs, whatever you shared, it's not that you have to overcome this in order to have massive vision, in order to move forward, in order to lead a team forward. They need who you are now. And all you need to do is keep attempting to grow a little bit more each day. All you need to do is give your best. That does not mean that you're going to look like the same leader as Christina or me or anybody else here. Everyone is going to be a little bit different. All you need to do is take a step forward. So what is vision? What does it look like to have it? In terms of the basics of vision, it's what gets people started, what inspires them, what gets them to move and take a step forward. It changes. It does not stay the same. It should grow with you. It should grow with your team and based on who you have and what they are looking for, right? So it is ever changing and moving in slight ways, but your end goal is there. The big purpose is there once you identify your purpose and where you're going and why you're going there.
I think when I think about casting vision for somebody, I think about agitating their problems. And that sounds really ugly. Like, why would you agitate someone's problems? Basically, you just got to kind of bring the problem to the surface. Like, okay, this is what you wish was different about your life. So let me agitate it a little bit. Mm-hmm. So how does being away from your family, like, how does that make you feel? Oh, how does your husband having to go to work in the oil field? What is he missing out on? Like, you just agitate the problem so that then you can clearly paint the picture of the solution. So casting vision is seeing what someone's life could be and should be, and then you having the conviction to show them how to build it. So it's not a one-off. If you feel convicted about something, you're going to be willing to follow back up. You're going to be willing to continue to call out their potential because you see what their life could be and should be based off of what they've told you.
And it might start off smaller as you grow into that. It might start off more about you as you start. So talk about the me-centric thing.
Yeah, so like me-centric vision would be, for instance, when I got started, I was a teacher on a fixed income. There was no way to go teach more creatively and then throw me extra money. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. But my kids were growing up and I was reproducing again. And so they were getting expensive. Like, one of the kids made middle school cheer squad. And before she could even try out, they're like, we need $1,500 commitment. I'm like, I'm sorry, what is this public school? Ain't that supposed to be free? It ain't free. So it was me centric. I'm like, okay, I need this opportunity because I need to make some changes for myself. There's zero things wrong with you desiring changes for your life. You've already heard yesterday in one of my trainings that then it became, I mean, we were pretty successful. And then I realized the day of the shopping spree, like, me centric is no longer enough. It can't just be about me. It's going to have to be about them and their me centric goals.
That's one.
No.
Do you want to keep going?
So
Oh, there you go.
it's okay that you have a me centric goal to start, and then it's okay that your team also has me centric goals, but it will grow from there. But the law of navigation requires you to see it. What you can't have is someone who only has a me centric goal, get your products paid for, and then they arrive at it and there's no further vision. This is why we don't go and create millions of silvers, because by the time somebody is almost silver, I'm already like, how did that feel? Tell me how that felt. Oh my gosh. Well, listen, you're just now scratching the surface. Have you thought about this? So building onto that vision. What you can't have is a team who has such small vision that when they arrive, it's like, well, that was fun. Kind of like why we don't sell weight loss. You go around and you lose 10 pounds. Guess what happens when they lose 10 pounds? They leave. So same thing with vision.
So being conscious of that, because as we shift into what legacy vision looks like, that's going to be basically the impact that's going to be there long after you're gone, right? You think about legacy, you think something that lasts, it outgrows you. It's something way beyond you. So if you are growing into that, we have to consciously think about our people and who we're leading and how we're helping them grow beyond that me-centric. It's okay to start there. That's what's going to grab them. That's good. But how are you going to help them grow beyond that? So it is about impact. It's about purpose. It's about something bigger than themselves, because those are the people who are going to be self-motivated, and they're going to be driven, and they're going to stick it through the hard things, and they're going to be empowered and want to do this for a bigger reason than just meeting some immediate needs or something that they jump into and meet, and don't need to be pushed any further, right? So defining impact, you can define it in a lot of ways. And I think it's important to do that, because sometimes we can think that impact is, or even leadership is, the person in the spotlight, right? The person with the mic, but it is so many other things behind the scene. And you guys know that it's serving, it's being in the trenches with people. It's teaching someone one-on-one. Doesn't need to be in front of a room full of people, right? So it's what you are doing to build community. So all the ways that you can have impact and show leadership and step into those roles, that is what we're talking about. And Christina, you mentioned something about how all that builds up to the mic thing. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Mic thing. Where are you at? I'm over here listening.
Well,
You're like, oh yeah.
remember when you talked about how all of that just builds up to like where you are now, maybe with training and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So here's the thing. I want to say something before I mention that. When you focus on someone's purpose and significance, like Nat said yesterday, it's going to help you kind of already help them self-coach these thoughts and limiting beliefs that hold them back. If we make it about them, then everything that they believe negatively about themselves is going to halt their action. But if we make it about the impact that they're going to make, and we help them shift their focus to what they're doing for others, all of a sudden, me being nervous is irrelevant, because I'm going to create impact for this person, and I'm going to help this person create impact for that person. So had Brittany told me a long time ago, like, you're going to be a jewel trainer, I'd have been like, I'm not even going to be a jewel. Like, I have so many thoughts about this. But what she constantly just created vision a little bit bigger than where we were. And here's the thing. What we desire is to leave a footprint. Same with your families, whether you're married or not. Your hope is that if you drop off the side of the mountain right now, there's going to be a footprint of your life. Like, you're going to have made an impact. Some people will continue to do differently, live differently, believe differently because you were here. That's what we desire for our business. So it's not, let me get the mic so that I can be the most important person. It's, let me go and share all the ways I have royally messed up so that I can save them from that. And that will look like impact, significance. I have no idea where we are.
That's fine. All right, in the workbook, there's a worksheet after the 2 pages of notes.
Yours
that
is at
okay?
the top. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
trying to figure out why they didn't line up, but it's because okay, I'm good. I'm tracking now.
Did you put yours out of order? Oh, because I changed it.
Yeah, you added it. It's okay.
Okay, so the first 3 questions only, we want you guys to take a couple minutes and list specific traits. Do you want to get some examples of that?
Yes.
Like,
Okay. Yep. So for example, leadership and impact is not only what you see visibly. So if somebody has the gift of teaching, it would be natural that they would be the ones teaching. It would not make sense for Jamie to say, Christina, you're going to be on the hospitality committee for Ruby Retreat. We want you to make everyone feel warm and welcome.
hug
them.
everybody that comes in the
Yep,
door.
hug them. When you walk by, like touch them extra. Also, while you're at it, make the graphics look beautiful and come up with every thoughtful detail. Y'all, first of all, you would have 0 of the small touches. I'd be like, they can bring their own workbook. They can write their own name tag on the sticky. Hello, my name is. Like, just not my gift. It's just not. And I could either resent that or be so grateful that some people are gifted in that way. So you got to think about what specific traits do you have? What specific is it? Because I'm an introvert, how could that be a blessing? I had so many girls last year say, Chris Rosencrantz, I think she changed my business. And I'm like, oh, tell me more. She changed my business too. But Chris could sit there and say, well, I'm just not as outgoing. I'm just not whatever. First of all, Chris is a great trainer. But you've got to think about what traits do you possess? Can you organize things well? Can you take something that looks like a giant cluster and make it all make sense? If so, how could that show up in this? What are my what are my specific traits and how can they show up? We've got to stop looking at the things that make us different as though it makes us bad or unable to be used. It is ridiculous. Just not true.
So go ahead and break down, list like your specific traits. Don't worry about if you think it's good, bad, whatever, just list them and brain dump. And then the second question is how they can be used as an asset, not a hurdle, right? And then if I use these assets, what could the impact be? So,
and let me warn against false humility right here. I don't know what my strengths are. I have no talents that are good. There are no assets I have. Wrong. Is that what the Bible would say about you? It's just not true. So brain dump.
All right, you got 2 minutes.
I'm over here like, I don't understand. I feel like you're so color coordinated. Thank you. I needed it to pop out so I could be so sweet. So you're not up here like me, like, what is she talking about? I'm gonna get some water. You got water? Yeah, I got water.
All right. We are gonna keep moving on.
Sure. Okay. So you see, by the time you get to the third box and you realize these traits can be an asset in these ways, the hope is once you are aware of what you could be doing, you should feel a responsibility to be doing it. Imagine if Fallon said, these are all my traits. These are all the way I could be useful. And nah, no thanks. I just won't. So the hope is that vision creates action. Once you see what could be, it should create some conviction that I must achieve it. I need to go get it. It's why some people avoid even thinking about their why, because they realize once I see what could be, then I realize it's up to me. It becomes no longer this mystical, I wish things could be different. It's like, oh crap, I could make it different. And now if I don't make it different, it's only on me. So vision creates action.
So if you have that vision, then it is going to be one imperative that you have the belief with it, right? That's important. So you have this vision, and if you truly know, hey, this is my purpose, this is where I will be going, this is my clear vision, then like Christina said, it's a choice of whether you step into it or not. It is completely up to you. And if you know that, then why in the world would you not do? Why would you not take action? Why would you not move forward? Because it is that crystal clear, right? It should be to where it is like you're feeling it in your bones, you're excited, right? Like that is something that you are excited to step into. So then you are going to take action. And where vision becomes important is if you're taking action and you're not considering your vision or you're not consulting it, then how do you know where you're going, right? So not getting kind of, we're going to talk about this in a second, but you have your vision and then your strategy is kind of that path. The action is the strategy, right? It's different from the vision. The vision's where you're going. But if you're not connecting those two, then you're going to be off your path and not know where you're going, right? You're kind of going through the motions. You're not really considering your choices on whether you step into important things, your traits, the way you can have, use those as an asset for your team. And it's not going to align with your vision. So that should align, and you should be connecting those. And yeah, vision comes first because there's no path without that destination. So that's what I wanted to bring up with that. And with also in reverse, without a path, there's no progress. So if you can't have the strategy alone, you can't just do the path and have no vision. You also can't have a vision and not have a path. They're gonna come together, and you have to start with a vision first.
Yeah, it would be kind of like wanting to be a triathlete and spending the whole 6 months learning how to rock wall climb. Like you took lots of actions, so much actions. Like you are a stellar rock wall climber. And then it's time to put on the wetsuit. I don't even know if you need a wetsuit for a triathlon. I don't know. But it's time for that, like swimming and biking and running. And you've just got massive grip strength and can hang on to rock walls. So it has to be in alignment is what I'm basically getting at. You got to be in alignment. Is what I'm taking part in every single day going to get me where I say I want to go? Because otherwise you're kind of like a squirrel. We just swirl around. And we can justify us based off of our intentions. Well, I had intended to do this. However, I allowed this to take place instead. And now I've deviated from where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. So what might hold someone back, or why might someone struggle to cast vision, or keep someone from embracing the vision? And oftentimes that can come back to, what do you believe about yourself, right? It's your past or your current circumstances, or what you believe to be true. If you have something holding yourself back, limiting yourself, right? And then we need to ask the question, okay, why am I going to let this hold me back? Like, not only is that holding you back, but you have to know how much that's holding your people back. Every single person that you have the chance to come in contact with, to have impact with, your leaders, the people that, you're going to be bringing forward later, that's going to impact them, your choices, what you're holding yourself back with those things. Oh my goodness, stutter much.
It's okay. And again, I just want to reiterate, you are not powerless to take action just because you have limiting beliefs. Every single time you've seen any of us take a step forward, it was carrying those limiting beliefs with us. But what we were doing every time is proving, like building credibility with ourselves. In spite of this, I still went and did this. So the first thing you got to build credibility with yourself. You cannot sit back there and say, well, I know these are all my assets, but there's already enough people with my gifts. I hear that all the time. I was going to speak up on book club, but you guys had it handled. Listen, that is not how leaders think. It's not how leaders think. You've got to be willing to assert yourself and be in your strength zone. So
what makes me think with that, because now I didn't necessarily think this way at the very beginning, but now as I've stepped into ownership with leadership, with vision, with things like that, I think first and foremost, if I don't do it, what if everybody else didn't do it? If I don't speak up on book club, what if everybody else on the call didn't speak up? If I didn't help out in this way, what if nobody helped out? So taking ownership yourself first on doing those things and not expecting that, oh, well, they always got it taken care of, or they do it better than me.
Yep.
All right, now I gotta think where we're at. Okay, so how do you lead a team of leaders with vision? We talked about your characteristics, traits, how you can use that as an asset. You're simply first and foremost doing it with yourself, right? But then you're helping them do that. So what are their characteristics? What are their traits? Like it was talked about yesterday, you have to know your people, get to know them, have conversations with them, see what you can pull out of them. That's some of the strongest things you can do as a leader, is pull out and see vision for your people on what they have and how they can utilize that. Sometimes they might not see it themselves. I'm a person that would not have seen stuff myself. If I didn't have Tiffany and Fallon coming and telling me to do some things, or like, hey, you'd be good at that or whatever, like I wouldn't have necessarily volunteered myself by any means, because I had those limiting beliefs. I was self-conscious. I didn't think I was good at XYZ. So it was just that empowering from someone else that allowed me to step into that and do it afraid.
Does anybody else feel super awkward when trying to even think of someone's strengths? It's like, okay, I have a big team. And Brittany will say, what's her strength? I'm like, can I have a list? Like it doesn't come naturally for me. So it reminds me of my friend Abby. Abby would say the same thing. Like, I don't know how to pull out people's strengths. I don't even know what my strengths are. I don't know what their strengths are, but you can be very proactive to find out. So she started hosting like little mini team get-togethers, virtual, in person, whatever, where the whole point is let's all take the strength finders test. Let's have conversation. Oh, we have this same strength. I wonder how that shows up here. Oh, we're opposite here. How could we utilize that in a partnership? Like, she's empowering them to become self-aware. She could sit over there and say, this is not my strength. I'm Akko Taco. I feel Akko Taco. I think they're thinking I'm Akko Taco. Like, Abby and I are the same person. So I'm like, Abby, you have to do it scared. She's like, they're looking at me weird. I'm like, I know. But you can empower them. You can go in and be vulnerable and say, we're going to learn this together. We're going to figure this out together. I put the list in the chat the other day of the 21 qualities of a leader. You're looking at their strengths in any of those traits that would automatically say, see, that's leadership. Oh, hospitality is a strength of yours. You love that. Look over here where this characteristic says genuine connection makes you a leader. I told you you're a leader. Look.
So what I think is important about that is you're not just looking for what they're already good at. You're looking for these little traits and then how you can help them develop it into more, which is likely going to be something out of their comfort zone, something that they're not necessarily already doing. So you're not just looking for what they are good at, although those are some indicators right there. How can you help push them to do more with that, something out of their comfort zone with that? When it comes to leading a team with vision, your vision matters, because when obstacles come, when things are really tough, when they have doubts, when you have doubts, when you have limiting beliefs, when your team has limiting beliefs, you and them are going to power through because you have that end vision. The hurdles, the things along the way, are just going to be little hurdles because you know the end game and you have that vision and you're passing that on to your team, and you have to be so strong that you are not wavering, and therefore your people are not wavering when those things happen.
And a wave of doubt does not discount you from being a leader. If so, in the Bible, it would not say, God, I believe, but help my unbelief. It's okay if sometimes you're like, oh gosh, that was really a blow. I had it in Portugal, like that was a blow. It was an epic fail repeatedly. Like, do I really I could have said, see, this is the proof I told you all along. I'm not cut out for this. It was just waiting to rear its ugly head, and now it did. And I told you, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this anymore. Top 50, made a fool of myself, I'm not doing it no more. Could have said that. But that doubt came in, and I'm like, okay, well, good news is I knew other top 50 earners, and I'm like, well, they sometimes act a fool too. So it's gonna be all right. I saw, like, no, I'm good. But so the doubt doesn't disqualify you. It is just that the vision has to be even sometimes minusculely bigger, but always feeding the belief so that you can starve the fear. The fear never leaves. The doubt never completely goes away. But we don't let that stop us from having the kids, building the houses, taking the chances. Just have to feed the belief.
And use your upline, the leaders, the mentors in your life. If you have that, talk to them and tell them. If Brittany came to Fallon up until she hit diamond, asking, am I still going to be a diamond at not just silver, but emerald and sapphire, and 3/4 of the way to diamond, if she still need that reassurance, that's just an example that it's okay. And just talk to your upline, get that reassurance, get that belief and that vision from them. Yep. How do you check the integrity of your vision?
So if anybody read the book Integrity by Dr. Cloud? No. Okay. Maybe you should read that. That'd be a good one. So here's the thing. A ship's integrity is determined based off of its ability to do what? Float. Yeah. What do we want the ship to not do? Sink. So we're on the right track. Okay. So the ship.
You're not talking to preschoolers.
I'm trying. Like, okay, maybe this is a bad analogy. Okay, ship in the water. We need it to float, but do I need it to just float in a pond where there's no movement? No, the ship's integrity has got to withstand like dangerous conditions, like big, massive waves. Like it's got to be able to stay upright. And that is what your vision is going to have to do. It's going to have so much integrity that when the waves come, when people jump overboard, when the iceberg is near, your integrity of your vision will stay solid. Here's how you know if your integrity of your vision is not solid. I'm going to go here unless. If I'm thinking about the parenting analogy, there is nothing that could come up that would keep me from loving my kid and trying to do what's best. Nothing. It's not like I'll love my kid unless he falls down and knocks out his front tooth and he's no longer Instagram worthy. Like, that's a true story. He did knock out his tooth when he was 1. And I'm like, you're not going to have a tooth for like 6 years, dude.
Or your child like takes a razor almost to their scalp the day before taking family pictures and he looks like a cancer little boy.
Yeah. Like there's nothing that's going to prevent that with raising our families, right? There's nothing that's going to come against our marriage, whatever. Your vision's got to be that strong. It can't be, I'll go to diamond unless. I'll go to diamond unless it takes me longer than I want. I'll go to diamond unless so-and-so walks away. I'll go to diamond unless my mom and dad continue to pick on me about it. If there's an unless there, you got a leak in your ship. And it will grow and it will sink you. So you got to find the leak. It's not that you're not aware that there's a leak, but you just continually patch it. Just continually patch it. When you can't patch it, you get somebody else to come help you patch it. So you got to check the integrity of your vision. And
I was just gonna say also, if you're saying, I hope, that's you're not having assurance there. Oh, I hope I get there. It kind of lets you off the hook, right? You're not saying that you're going to. It's kind of like you're dipping your toes in. Well, yeah, I hope I do that, but you're letting yourself off the hook. And if you're thinking of the ship analogy, when you're in big water, you have navigation, right? You have assistance to figure out where you are going. And even if you get in massive waves and a storm comes, you still have that navigation to get you back on track. So there's that difference between hoping and expecting and knowing where you're going. If you are expecting, then those big waves, the obstacles, and anything that comes your way is not changing the course. You just get back on course. It might change the time. It might change who's coming with you here versus there, but the course does not change in terms of the end game. You just get right back on your navigation and you're good to go. So hoping or expecting makes a difference.
And think about it this way, we're back on the ship again. At no point are you like, oh, well, I'll just stay here in the Atlantic, just so I'm not gonna go anywhere. I'm just gonna stay here. Like, you unlimited amount of resources, right? You can't just stay there. But imagine if ships are coming and they're like, hey, it's smooth seas ahead. I've just been there. I've been there. Actually, here's my map. Oh, your compass is broke. Here's my compass. I'm going to give you everything you need to go where I've already been and where I'm coming back from. That is what you have here. You have people who have made it through the rough seas. And we've said, hey, you're almost there. Like, I know you can't see it because the waves, like, it's so much right now. But you're almost there. Just got to, like, a little further. Like, you have that ship. The ships are passing. Like, people are going. You just got to choose to go too.
So when you have that vision and you're leading your team with that, it also becomes a team effort, right? Just like staying on the ship analogy, you're not there by yourself if you're operating a big ship, right? You're working as a team. So it's a shared responsibility. So you casting that vision makes it takes it beyond you. It becomes a part of this team. People are working together and it's a shared ownership, shared responsibility, and you are doing that together. So what is your vision? What we're going to get into kind of what that looks like. You guys are business owners. You're creating $1 million businesses. You're leading people. Where you are at right now, you are leading people. So what is your vision? Your vision script is your tool to change the tired, discouraging story that so many people are living. People that you're talking to, people on your team already, the people that you're going to be talking to tomorrow for the first time. So you need to catch people with it. The vision should be powerful enough to shake off the complacency and to replace it with a motivation to take action. So you have that vision, it changes to the action.
I just said so good. It's basically the cry of your heart. It's the cry of your leadership heart.
So I want to give you guys permission to envision the ideal future without dwelling on who you are right now. So if you are thinking about the vision, in a second, we're gonna give you time to finish that worksheet, but I want to give you permission to think and don't dwell on where you are at now, what you think you have or do not have right now. Remove that. Think about the future and with that not impacting that. The thoughts of how can strangle your vision. So if you're worried about, well, here's my vision and I want to be here, but how am I going to get there? Christina mentioned that earlier. That's going to strangle that. It's going to prevent you from actually creating the vision that you want to create with that. So don't think about where you are at now or how you're even going to necessarily get there. So it doesn't hold you back from creating that in the first place. If you have your vision, you find your vision, you're going to find the how. Kind of like what we said earlier. If you know that you know that you know that you know, you're going to figure it out. You're going to step into it. You're going to have the drive to do it.
Think about if we're on an 8-lane highway and your dog, your kid, your husband is on the other side. No one's going to rescue him. It is totally up to you. And like this child, we're going to make him like 2. So he ain't even going to stay where he's at for long. Are you worried about the how? No, the vision is get my human. That's my human on the other side of that 8-lane highway. I'm going to charge hell with a water pistol to get to that human being. That's the conviction that you got to have with your vision here. Like no matter what's in the 8 lanes in between, I don't need to know how I'm going to get past the 7th lane. Right now, I'm going to get past this 1st lane. Like Frogger, real life Frogger.
And you're going to trip and you're going to get yourself back up again and go again. And you're going to stumble and you're going to get yourself back up again and go again. So when you write your vision script, you're going to think about, what do I want? Is it clear? So 4 things. Is it clear? Does it inspire? Is it practical? We're not talking about riding a rainbow. And, and can you sell it? Which, can you pass it on to other people? Is it clear? Does it inspire? Is it practical? Can you sell it? It has to be risky, but not stupid. It shouldn't be comfortable where you're like, yep, I got this. I can, I'm going to reach this tomorrow, whatever. Like, it should make you a little uncomfortable. It should be a little risky. It should be a big deal, but it should make sense. It should be uncomfortable. It should make you grow into the leader that you need to become in order to achieve it. Anything before we give an example?
Nope, we're telling the 4 things again.
4 things again?
Yep. Clear, inspire, practical, and can you sell it? Basically, can you give that belief away? Can you give that vision statement away? You guys want an example first?
Yeah.
And listen, Jamie and I have very successful businesses, and this was hard for us. We're like, wait, how do you spell vision? Like, vision statement. And so we would come up with these things, and she'd be like, that is not clear. I'm like, oh, okay. Or she's like,
And then Christina comes back, well, I just suck at this.
I'm like, see, I suck. She's like, no, try again. She's like, okay, better. Does that inspire? I'm like, oh, okay, try again. So just know this is going to be difficult, and you're going to land on something today, and it will probably change. But again, we're practicing. Give yourself permission to fail forward. Just don't text Jamie with your attempt.
Was that brutal?
I got that thick skin.
No, I think writing it out first, you're going to be able to, like, just like you said, adjust it as you go, and like, okay, how can I get clear? How can I, how is this going to impact other people? How does it inspire me? So it's going to be like a work in progress. So here's an example that we came up with. We are building a team of driven, strong, passionate people who strive to offer hope, health, and happiness to others who desperately need it, who will rise in leadership while pursuing excellence and integrity as we fill out our purpose and create the freedom we strive for ourselves and our families. So we're done. There we go.
All right, y'all go do that.
What? Oh, do you want me to say it again?
No, they're trying to.
I know. Oh, you got my
They're
drone,
cheating.
people. I'll say it. Yeah, we should give examples afterwards if you don't hear me. Okay, so we're just
They're trying to
having-
record you. All right, do it again.
Do it again. Okay.
This is called scaffolding, and we're going to come and highlight how many of your words match our words. At least change the sentence order.
All right, so here's an example. We are building a team of driven, strong, passionate people who strive to offer hope, health, and happiness to others who desperately need it, who will rise in leadership while pursuing excellence and integrity as we fill out our purpose and create the freedom we strive for ourselves and our families.
Another book plug, The Vision Driven Leader.
Yes.
Vision Driven Leader.
So that is a good book recommendation if you have not read that. I love it. Christina loves it. Vision Driven Leader by Michael Hyatt. Yes. So, all right, you guys are going to get your worksheet out again. So turn 1 page over, and the last 2 questions on there. What is my long-term vision? The cry of my heart vision statement. And then focus on that first. And then could I overcome the biggest iceberg hitting my business with that vision? And if not, what must I change so that I could?
Yeah, so biggest icebergs would be, what if my primary leg quit? If my primary leg quit, is my vision statement strong enough that I would persevere? Listen, what if my upline quit? listen, love you, adios. Like I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. So biggest hurdle, you know, it could be anything, but if the scariest thing in your brain happened, is your vision statement going to propel you forward?
All right, 2 minutes. You can finish it later too. Maybe we'll give you 3.
All righty. End this thing or wait till you close
Do
it
we
out?
want to close it? Yeah, I'll just mute it. All right, well, do you want to say anything on that? Or not? Okay, so 2 more questions I want you guys to write down. You can answer these later. What has held me back so far? And how do I need to grow to be able to step into this vision and create that strategy? So that would be the next step. We didn't, I guess, give time for it either. I'm going to add that on. What is my strategy? What is that path? So once you have your vision and your clear vision, what is your strategy?
We're going to talk about that too later.
Oh, we are. Okay. Sorry. Questions. What has held me back so far? Number 1. And number 2, how do I need to grow?
Mhm. Sounds good. All right, y'all. Up next, we have, do they have a potty break or no break?
No.